Like, if there's a motherfucker in the world that wants you to be successful, it's that dude sitting next to you. If I go down this Army route, I'm going to make sure that I stay current. It's going to suck. Hey, folks, you want to know what greatness looks like? Look at Jackson right there, baby. That's what it looks like every time, man. The good ones are easy to see. Air Force Academy dad, great mom, great opportunity, man. 400 hours, talking about being a Green Beret in the Army. Are you serious? Man, that dude has life by the balls right now, man. I'm so jacked up. That's why I love to do what I do, man, because when you interact with greatness, it just comes right back to you, man. The energy is so positive and just, it's contagious, man. You want to be awesome when you're surrounded by awesome people, man. Shout out to Jackson, man. Go kill it, son. Go make a decision, Army officer, airline pilot. I want the best for you, man. That's what America's about. And you know he from Spokane, Washington, baby. That Washington shit just contagious. We just make greatness out in that wonderful state. All right, y'all, man, as always, man, take a look at the masterclass for SEALs. We building greatness. If you want to get on a call and you got some good stuff and you worthy, shoot me an email, man. Send me a text message. Let's go, baby. We building champions for life. All right, brother, what do you got?
Okay, so like I mentioned in the email, so like a lot of kids, right? A lot of guys I see in your videos wanted to be special operations growing up, kind of fell into flying, ended up getting a lot of ratings, and so I'm kind of on a path to go airlines and all that, but I'm just struggling with. It seems kind of a little bit like selling out to me, like I'm kind of abandoning a lifelong dream. And so I just don't want to eventually regret that, essentially.
Okay, so let me ask you this, right? You got like 400 hours. Your dad's an F-15 Eagle driver, right? Like you got real aviation roots, okay? What does it hurt? Like what is your plan? Like, are you going to go in as an officer? Or like, what is your plan for the military?
Oh, officer for sure. Yeah.
Okay, like Army or like what's your plan?
So, again, like a lot of other people, it was SEALs growing up, but after honestly just watching your videos, I see that Army is kind of a better route for sure for a lot of guys. So my plan was, yeah, Army, trying to go for SFAS, maybe Ranger Battalion, and yeah, going as an officer. That would be my plan there.
Okay, because here's what I would say. My guess is you can stay current that whole time you're in the military.
Yeah.
So it's not going to hurt you. Okay. Now, the thing is, like, if you go special forces, like you go Green Berets and you can already fly, like, I got to believe, like, somebody's going to be like, we're going to pull you over here to do this. Okay. So but like, the Army's a bad place to do that in.
Okay.
Because it's all helicopters. You don't want to fly helicopters, right?
No, fixed wing.
So that's why, like, if you say, hey, I'm going to go try to be a Navy SEAL, but like, you already graduated, right?
Yeah.
You won't even go to OCS for 2.5 years from now. You won't go to OCS or the SOAS until next year this time. If you get picked up, it'll be 2 years before you go to OCS. Like this time and 2 years from now. By then, you could already be 2 years deep in the Army, right? I don't see a problem going in the military for a couple of years, right? If you think you're going to regret it, go do it. Because you're not risking anything. If you go in the Army as an officer, you're not risking anything. Because when you come out, like you think about this, you already got the 400 hours, right? You need 1,500 to go fly for the airlines. So you're just going to go do instructors, right? You're going to do instructor time for a year. You're going to go fly regional jets, right? For another year and a half, right?
Yeah.
So you can go fly regional jets. That don't matter if you do it now or if you do it in 4 years from now.
Gotcha.
And I'll tell you this, I got some dudes on active duty, helicopter guys, who are flying for the regionals their last 2 years in the military.
Gotcha.
So don't discount that either. Right? Infantry, I think it'll be a little bit harder. They were both helicopter pilots. You know, the helicopter schedule is a lot more kind of conducive to going to fly for the airlines while you're still on active duty.
Yeah.
But they all we got kind of a pipeline now for helo pilots to go commercial. They start 4 years before they're going to get out. They get their commercial ratings. They get instructor rated. Then they start teaching. Then they get their hours up, fixed wing. Then they go fly regionals for the last 2 years here and there. And then they fly regionals for about a year, and they got enough hours to go, the 737s or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
that's kind of what I was thinking too. Was because so when I was kind of starting to really consider everything and making plans to go in the military before I graduated, and so it was really important for me to get the instructor because that's what I figured. So it's good to kind of confirm that I can just because I think like I know it might not be realistic, but I was thinking there might be a way like if I'm not gone at some point in time for like 2 weeks or something, find a flying club instruct for like a couple hours just to keep some level of recency, maybe.
so I mean, you just put it on your list of shit to do, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody else is going to drink on fucking Friday nights. You're going to fly on Friday, Friday afternoons. When you get done at noon, you're going to fly. You're going to fly on Saturday and Sundays. A lot of flight schools do a lot of work on Saturdays and Sundays because guys are trying to fly on the weekends.
Yeah.
Now the bad thing is you're going to be an Army base. So you normally in some shitty ass area,
Yeah.
I mean, man, I almost want to tell you, like, I would tell you, like, I'm not opposed to you going enlisting as a SEAL, but it's just too much risk. It's too much risk. Like, I got one dude that didn't make it through SEAL training. He's flying now, right?
Yeah.
But they're not gonna let you come out the enlisted side, just go straight to flight school. And you don't really want to do that anyway. You already got 400 hours. Like, you'll be making more money in the airlines in 5 years than you would in 11 years after you get out the military with your flight time, And your dad's been flying for the airlines for how long now?
Coming up on like 10, I think, 11.
Yeah. So, like you got everything you need to grease the skids for that. I mean, you just got to make a decision, man. I just had a conversation this morning with a dude, same kind of deal, right? You're a lot different because you got a lot of life already set up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like 400 hours is like, I'm set the fuck up. Like I'm going to fly in the airlines, So from my side, like, I don't think there's no risk going in the military. You're going to be, how old are you right now?
23, almost 24.
So you'll be 27 when you get out and you start your pilot's track, or 28, right? Because you're not going to go in the Army tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you might get the Army. Like you say, hey man, I want to go Special Forces and fly. Okay. And you already got 400 hours. They may send you to flight school. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got fixed wing C-20s or whatever they are in the Army. And then, you end up flying and doing shit in Special Forces that way. I know, like, Dev Group has got a whole bunch of pilots over there, chief pilots over there, used to. I don't know if they still do, but they got a bunch of chiefs over there that go to flight school that know how to fly, right?
Yeah, I talked to a couple of those guys actually. So my dad did a job where he ended up working with a guy who came out of the Dev Group flying, whatever that was. And yeah, he told me about it. He made it seem like I had to go enlisted in order to go into that route, but I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, I mean, but here's my problem with going enlisted, right? That's why I said I'm not down on you going enlisted. What I'd be down on is you not making it.
Yeah.
And you getting some shitty job where for 4 years you have no chance to fly. Right? Yeah. But like, if you make it with 400 hours, like I got a dude right now that was going to go screen for Dev Group. Okay. He got asked to screen. He said, no, I'm going to wait one more platoon. Okay. He got invited after his first platoon, but he got some personal shit he wanted to go take care of. Okay.
Sure.
You got hours, like you're going to go, like, but then you got to, like, there's so many huge hurdles you got to clear. You got to get through BUDS, you got to get through SQT, you got to do well in your first platoon, right? You get invited over there, and then you got to go through Green Team, right? Green Team is 50% washout rate, if not more, right? And then we're doing all of this just so we can fly at Dev Group.
Yeah.
Man, I could go in the Army probably in, you know what I'm saying? I can go to AFAS, go Green Berets. I'm not saying it's easier. I'm just saying it's more doable. And go through that track and be like, all right, cool. I got 400, because they're going to ask you what you got. I got 400 fucking flight hours. They're gonna be like, all right, cool, we're gonna take you over here and put you on this team right here. You know, you may be in a third world country teaching kids how to fly.
Gotcha.
You know, you're doing FID, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the Army. I just know Army has a whole bunch of options.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you may get away from flying, you know, a couple years, and you just gotta stay current. That's the big deal of staying current, you know. So, and I don't think that's that hard to do. Once you get out of the first kind of 2-3 years of gulag, you go back in, get your instructor rating, instruct on the weekends, you know, 2 months out or 2 weekends out of the month, you know, keep building your flight hours, do all that. You know, you'll come out in 3 or 4 years, you have 600 flight hours probably.
Yeah.
You know, you'll go right into regional jets. You
Yeah.
know, you fly regional jets, you get to 1,500 and you'll make the transition.
Yeah, I don't even need 15. I went to a university, so I get what's called a restricted ATP. So it's only
So,
1,000.
so you only need 1,000 to go to regional jets?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, boom, 1,000. And then you still need 1,500 to go fly big boys, right?
So the way it works is like you need 1,000 to get to any what's called 121, so any airline. So that's like regional or major. And then once you are there, you're only allowed to be a first officer until you get your extra 500 to get up to 15. Then you can make captain. But you're not going to make captain in 500 hours working at an airline anyway, because that's like going to come really fast.
Yeah,
So
what I'm saying though is you need can you be a first lieutenant on a 737 at 1,000 hours?
well, I believe you could legally, but
Ain't nobody gonna let you go though.
yeah, no, you need turbine time. They wouldn't hire you then.
That's
But
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to have 1,500 hours jet time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they want like to make the transition from regional jets to fixed wing. To airline 737s are bigger. You got to have 25 or 1,500 hours to be a first lieutenant. Is what I'm understanding, right?
Yeah, I believe, yeah,
Um, I know you know better than I do. I just know that like 1,500 is a magic number, and it's got to have a lot of regional jets in it,
yeah,
which sucks because you only get paid 40,000 while you're getting that 1,500.
yeah.
So, but it is what it is because you're getting a check for life. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I tell everybody my pilots are the happiest motherfuckers in the world, bro. They are the happiest people in the world.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of think of it as like selling out almost, because it's actually going up. A lot of the regionals are paying like 100 now. Like
Are they really?
yeah, like Envoy is paying 100. I think SkyWest might be too, something like that. I could be wrong. I haven't checked in a while.
So here's what I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna give you this adage. This is a good one. Okay, you can do a lot of shit when you're young that you can't do when you're old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, SF is number one on that list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit you can do when you're old. Okay, let me say this way. There's a lot of stuff that you can still do when you're old, i.e.,
Mm-hmm.
fly planes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say this: get it out your system, go. Okay. You got 4 years, you go in 4 years. You know, if you like it, you stay. I mean, you might be able to wiggle around in the Army and get yourself flying, you know, G5s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might be able to figure out a way to go to flight instructors, like figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because they do FID so much, maybe you're instructing fucking third world country on how to fly planes.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're down there collecting hours and you just chalking up your logbook, right? And you come out with 1,500 hours and you're like, yes, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't see no downside risk for you. 27, you're still young in the pilot community. You still have another 35 years of flying at 27. So, like, even financially, like, you're going to be making 300,000 as a 737 pilot, right? Like, you're not going to be like, it's not like those 3 or 4 years are going to hurt you financially. Like, there's really no downside risk from going. Now, the one downside risk I'm going to say is if you somehow get hurt and then you can't fly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But like anything, like there's some risk to it, but
Yeah, and I mean, I figure I could get hit by a car walking down the street too.
absolutely. That's why I'm saying I'm not putting a lot of relevance on it. I'm just saying like that's a factor that you gotta at least have a little bit of thought for. But I know this, I wouldn't play it safe at fucking 23.
Yeah.
I'm fucking sending it, bro. I'm going Green Berets. I'm going to Army Infantry. I'm gonna go Green Berets. I'm gonna have fun. You know, I'm gonna peep the flying shit on the weekends because I know that's where I'm gonna end up in the future. And I'm gonna let it ride.
Yeah.
If I love the Green Beret shit, I'll stay in. You know, just keep doing my thing, collecting my hours on the weekends. Get to a training command or whatever where it's set and you fly on the week, fly on Saturdays and Sundays. That's what a lot of my dudes do. They fly out Friday night and they come back Sunday afternoon. They just tell their command, hey, I'm flying for the regionals. You know, if something comes up on the weekend, I might be away. I have to get back, you know, and they're not getting a lot of hours, but they're, you know, over 2 years, they're getting enough to be able to come out and be competitive so that they don't have to fly regional jets. Because the problem you have when you fly egg beaters is a lot of times when you get out, you're doing all the shit for like 4 years with no money. You're going down the instructor path, twin engine, da 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 da, and for 4 years you broke your shit.
Yeah, I'm instructing right now, and it's garbage.
Yeah, it is. That's
Far
kind of the game. Like they're gonna give you a $300,000 a year job. You're gonna pay for it up front, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what other questions you got, Jack?
Um, so as far as like training for it, obviously just going on the PDF.
My 7 OCS graduates since February all been on the PDF, all murdered OCS. They are murdering IOBC right now. They all of them went to Ranger school and did fine. I had one dude had some heat casualty problems. I talked to him about eating a lot of salt, fixed that. No one has not one of my dudes has struggled anywhere in the Army pipeline. My one Green Beret that finished up last year was on the PDF. He said, Jake, I had no physical problems. It was easy. You know, so I would tell you, you know, you look like you lift weights. Okay, so here's the last thing I'm going to say. What is your dad telling you? What's your dad saying to you?
So my dad's kind of got an interesting background. Well, I don't know, but when he was like in high school, he kind of got forced to go to the Air Force Academy. Ended up doing really well for himself, and ended up flying fighters and all that good stuff. But it's not necessarily like what he wanted when he was young. And so he has this personal hesitation of ever trying to tell me what to do with my life because he felt, you know, he's so mad at his dad for that. And so
What did he want to do? What did he want to do?
he didn't really have a huge. He had offers. He was a really good football player. He had offers to play at like Montana, and he went to school in Tri Cities. So you know he had offers to play in a lot of different places, but he ended up going to the academy. He played there.
When
But
he graduated from the academy?
88.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So he like I can tell he probably wants me to just because he's doing so well right now. He wants me to kind of follow that path, but he's not going to tell me that. He
But
supports flying and all that. So,
but let me ask you this, Jack. Like, dog, sit down and have a conversation. When you see my conversation with the TF-160 pilot and his son,
I didn't see that one. No.
okay, just put in like TF-160 pilot or on my channel, right? Like we're sitting there, and the dude was in the Army flying for TF-160 for fucking ever, bro. Half his helicopter's on his wall. Like they gave him a big ass piece of his helicopter when he got fucking bagged, right? And the kid wouldn't listen to his dad, man. Like I'm like, dude, you're sitting next to the guy that wants you. Like if there's a motherfucker in the world that wants you to be successful, it's that dude sitting next to you.
Yeah.
He didn't want to listen to him. Like he was just like, well, you know, I don't. I'm like, are you serious? Like there's no bigger proponent than your dad, right? And I think sometimes like you think I got better answers than your dad, right? But you got a dad that went to Air Force Academy, 88, like been flying for the airlines. What's he flying right now?
Well, Southwest. He flies to Southwest, so they
Okay, so he's making 375, right? He's capped at veteran maximum 375, right? Have they raised it?
Per year.
Yeah, they make 375 a year.
I think I don't really know exactly his financial situation, but I think he makes closer to 5.
Okay, so that was a couple years ago. I got 3 of my plebes are pilots for Southwest, and they fucking just chilling, bro. They're like, yeah, man, I work 15 days a month. You know, I just do my thing. So they might have raised it. That was 5-6 years ago. I talked to them about it. But my point is that money gonna be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not gonna give up your 400 hours. Like it ain't like you're gonna start over at 0. You know what I'm saying? So I think you gotta make a conscious effort in the back of your head, like, okay, if I go down this Army route, I'm gonna make sure that I stay current. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to give up a lot, but I gotta understand. And it may get to a point where you're just like, yo, I love this job so much. Like, I love it so much. Like, if you don't fly for 15 years, what's gonna happen? We have to start over.
No. I actually had a student that was doing that. He didn't fly for 20 years, and he was going to try and go back to the airlines. But yeah, you basically you have to like get all your stuff current again. So you have to go through like a review and all that. And then you'd probably have to build some recent hours. So even if you had like 1,000 hours, but you haven't flown for 20 years, they're not going to hire you. So you're going to have to build some time. But my instructor, as long as I keep that current, it'll never go away. So I could come back, find a school. They usually hire people with low time, minimal time, you know.
So all I'm saying is, let's say you go Green Berets and you love it, bro. You're like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world, right? Or you say, hey, I'm gonna go over to CAG, right? Like this, I'm going to CAG. I'm flying at CAG. Like, I don't know what life's gonna bring you.
Yeah.
But I know at any point you can just step out the line, step in the cockpit, and you're gonna make a living the rest of your life, like a really fat, cheesy fucking got Louis Vuitton on anytime I want to, right? And that's why, like, for me, there's not a lot of risk to you. There just ain't. You know, I wouldn't think too much about it. I would just, like I told the kid this morning, man, you have to do what you want to do, but you have to be convicted. Like lock, stock, and barrel. You read Relentless by Tim Grover?
I've not read that one.
Okay, go read that book. Okay. Because I tell people, if that's not how you pursuing something, then just don't pursue it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Like if the Army doesn't do that for you, then don't go do it. But if the Army is calling you like that, then send it and just know in the back of your head, okay, I got to keep this bread machine over here working, so I got to fly.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, your dad's always going to be there unless he dies, right? Unless he falls over, has a heart attack. So in 5 years from now, when you're trying to get in the airlines, he's at Southwest. He's going to be like, hey, my son, come over here. You're going to go meet the head pilot. You're going to meet all my boys, right? You're going to be like, they're going to be like, he's fucking awesome. Just spent 4 years as a Green Beret. You know what? Come over here. And that's 90% of it, right?
Yeah.
So I won't worry about it. You know, just make sure you're ready. Your dad's got all the connections, right? Get you a couple of letters of recommendation. I just had the kid today was a fucking rock star and didn't get accepted into OCS. And then they just called him 3 days ago and said, hey, you want to go to OCS? And he's kind of pissed now because he's a rock star. And he's like, fuck that. I already moved on, Jake. I said, well, you got to make some decisions. I don't think it's that big a deal either way. The one thing I'll tell you, okay, this is one of the things I tell all people that are sitting in a cat burglar seat, right? You kind of in a cat burglar seat. You got a dad that's doing what you're going to do. Been doing it a long time and got a hell of a lot of connections, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You are really good. You got flight hours. You got everything you need. Okay. I can pay for a special operations lifestyle that other people can't pay for. So if I want to go free fall parachuting, I can pay for it. If I want to go to sniper school, I could pay the $1,500, go to the 2-week sniper course, right? If I want to, learn tracking, I can go down to the Alabama and see the best tracker in the country, right? Like I can do special operations things and not be in special operations and kind of get that fix a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm making $300 a year, I can buy any gun I want and I can shoot as much as I want, right? Like I can build a range. You got a range at your house?
Not a range at my house. My brother.
I got a couple motherfuckers got ranges at their house, right? Like I got a range at my house. I roll out the backyard. I used to have a range in Maryland. It was awesome. Shooting in your backyard may be the best thing in the world. Okay. But don't discount that either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have considered that because that's something I've thought about too. Is like, I could just pay to do all these things. I wouldn't have to commit my life to something necessarily. But there's a part of me that's like, that just feels like I'm kind of like fanboying it, like kind of like half.
Yeah, 100% you fanboying it, right? But you make it $300,000 a year.
Mm.
flying a plane around, bagging stewardesses, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, like I think flying is one of the best lifestyle careers you can choose. Okay, I just
Yeah.
think it is. Like, looking back now, I was at the Naval Academy. I could have went and flown. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, but I done had a hell of a life on the path I chose.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. I'm just saying, like, I'm not an individual who live with a lot of regrets. I got one regret,
Mm.
right? And I still don't know the right answer to that regret of not going in after 9/11.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to think my best bet would have just went over and went in the army and fucking been an infantry officer,
Yeah.
right? Um, or go back to the SEAL teams and just mend all the fences that I had blown up and burned down. But either way, like that's the only regret I really have. Everything else, I go do it. You
Yeah.
know, I want to coach ball. I walked away from my $200,000 a year job, took $7,000 a year job, GA job, and started coaching ball.
Yeah.
So don't live with regrets, brother. Go eat. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be committed to the decision.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I'm happy you kind of confirmed that because I was before, I thought of like, oh, I can just keep it in the back pocket. I thought that it seemed to work out, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like some crack dream kind of, yeah.
What do you mean?
Keeping aviation in my back pocket, like we were
Fuck
talking about.
no, bro. You fucking no. You ain't keeping it in your back pocket. You keeping it in the fucking glued to the front of your eyeballs,
Mm.
right? You just got to make sure that you give the effort, like you don't get lazy on it.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have a 4-year deal where you got to you got to stay in the cockpit, man.
Mm.
And I don't think it's gonna be that bad. You just when you get down to, I'll say this, like Benning has a flying club, if I'm not mistaken, on Benning. Like you're in the flying club, you're doing instructing in the flying club, probably free.
Yeah.
You always got drop zones. You go fly at drop zones, right? Like how many hours you got to a commercial? You already
Uh,
commercial rated?
yeah, I have a commercial rating. Yeah.
Okay, so you could go fly drop zones every Saturday and Sunday. You go fly drop zones for a day.
Mm.
And you get your, I don't know, 13 flights up, 10 flights up, go fly drop zones, whatever, you
Yeah.
know? And that's at the end of the day, like you're just gonna have to make an effort. Like, okay, 1 or 2 weekends a month, I'm gonna have to go fly and see what your dad says, right?
Yeah.
Your dad may say, hey man, like do this, do that. He knows better than anybody.
Yeah.
I just know you got to make sure you keep it in the front of your head so that you can stay current.
Gotcha. So with OCS and going the Army route, when I would go talk to the officer recruiters and all that, would I mention to them that I wanted to go Special Forces, or would I just kind of ask to be an infantry officer and then worry about that stuff later?
So they're not going to give you anything until you get to OCS.
Okay.
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. Every
Mm-hmm.
one of my dudes that wants to be an infantry officer got infantry officer.
Gotcha.
Okay, when I went to OCS graduation back in February,
Mm-hmm.
most of the people don't want to be infantry officers. Okay, but you're not going to go out of shape. You're going to go in shape. You're going to be ready to kick ass. So
Yeah.
then they're going to give you an infantry officer building.
Mm-hmm.
None of my dudes showed up out of shape. None of my dudes didn't get infantry. They all showed up running 35-minute 5 miles. You're going to get up and there's going to be, in a class of 100, there's going to be, like the class was 93 and they lost a couple guys. So in a class of 100, maybe 25 of those guys are going to struggle to run the 40-minute 5 mile.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? 25, 50 of them are just there and they're going
Yeah.
to struggle.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to be running a 35-minute 5 mile. You're going to be in the front of the pack, minus the cross country dudes, right? Like, but the cross country dudes for the most part don't want to go infantry. So, there's going to be a couple runners in the class, but my guys, none of them had a problem, man.
Gotcha.
There's the sergeant major of OCS right now is a Green Beret. He's looking out for studs to go infantry, and then the next thing is you want to go 101st or the 82nd, really the 82nd, because the 82nd is the pipeline to special forces. So you go in the 82nd, you kick ass, you do good, and then you send it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Okay, but we'll talk about all that. I would say go see if you're thinking about it, if you're gonna go do it, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit here and wait I don't know, 6 months, right? You living at home right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't wait 6 months. Like I would tell you, like I do two things when I got to make a decision. I go for a drive, like a 3-hour drive out, 3-hour drive back, or I go for a fucking walk. Okay. And I might walk for 2 or 3 days trying to make a decision.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't have no headphones on. I'm just out there. I'm thinking. Okay. The other thing I'm going to tell you is don't do it in a vacuum. Talk to your dad. You already talked to some SEALs, right? Like don't sit there and try to figure it out. But when you make a decision, send it. Don't sit here and try to wiggle waggle in between. I don't think you got much to lose. If you go in the Army as an officer, even if they make you like an intelligence officer or some dumb shit, everything goes wrong, right? You're still flying on the weekends. 3 years later, you're gonna be in the fucking airlines. Like, and then you're gonna be an Army officer. Then you go fly for the CIA, you go fly for DEA, you go like if you want to go do some hot shit, like you're gonna be an Army Green Beret, right? Like, well, I guess if you went Army Green Beret, like it's gonna open a bunch of doors because of flying. Because most of the time they go the other way. They take a Green Beret and they make them a pilot. Because most of the pilots don't want to go do Green Beret shit, you know?
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that all works. Like if they would give a shit about my civilian time and all, or not. About
they won't give a shit, but it'll give you opportunities.
Okay.
If that makes sense, right? Like, yo, Jack got fucking 500 hours commercial time. And he's a fucking Green Beret 03. Right? You get roped into some fucking 7-month deployment to Niger, and all you're doing is training pilots, right? Like they say, hey, man, we're going to attach you to an Air Force unit, or we're going to attach you to this contract, and you're going to go down there as a FID professional, and you're going to run this contract while we teach these goons to fly and not kill themselves.
Gotcha.
Right? And then I'm always going to tell you, have a parachute. I'm just going to fucking tell you, you go fly in third world countries, you better have a little boogie chute with you because dumb shit happens. Planes blow up, planes get shot down, fucking idiots, you know what I'm saying, jump out of planes. Like third world countries, sketchy. So, but other than that, like I can't see it closing any doors for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Our brother, stay in contact, man. Kick ass. I just commend you for like at least doing what you're supposed to do and getting 400 hours, right? Like, but a big part of that is you got a great dad in the house, right? You probably got a great mom standing next to him too, right? So it's just commendable.